and welcome to DAM News. This is Ben reporting with a breaking story involving the Three Gorges Dam in China. A recent uproar between the residents of the Hubei province and the government officials in charge of the largest dam in the world has brought an extreme amount of attention to the Three Gorges Dam. This massive dam, standing more than 594 feet tall and 7,661 feet wide, has displaced more than 1.3 million people. We have Michael standing live with us on the dam site with more information about the issue. Michael?
The Three Gorges Dam is the largest hydroelectricity project and power station, generating as much as 103.1 terawatt hours of electricity each year. This is enough to power 9.5 million U.S. homes for a year. The reservoir behind it is about 574 feet deep right now and has a total capacity of 9.4 cubic miles. There are 23 floodgates that control runoff from the massive 386,000 square mile drainage basin that lies upstream of the dam.
Fitting the biggest dam on Earth, the Chinese solve it by building the biggest ship lock on Earth. Ships enter the lock at the bottom of the dam. The gates close, water floods in and lifts the ships up to the next lock. Ships must go through 5 tiers of locks to get to the top, which can take up to 4 hours. This is fine for cargo ships, but for the many passenger boats operating on the Yangtze, it's just too slow.
To provide a more efficient transit opportunity for passenger traffic, they've built this ship lift system here, which will allow boats to go through in about 36 minutes.
Unlike the ship lift at Krasnoyarsk, the one at the Three Gorges will lift ships straight up, like an elevator. And the secret of its success will lie hidden in its concrete walls. The engineers will fit a series of massive counterweights that will do most of the lifting. Sixteen 1,000-ton concrete blocks will be connected by cables to the steel trough that will carry the ship and the water it floats in. As the counterweights drop, they will hoist the trough upwards and lift the ship to the top.
After the construction of such a large dam in the Yangtze River, it's not surprising locals are worried about the environmental issues to come with it. The dam is said to be home to over 57% of endangered plant species and 361 different fish species, 27% of them also being endangered. Changes in temperature and flow of water are harmful to the species that call this river home. Not only this, but the Three Gorges Dam has 32 turbine generators, each with multiple blades, deadly to these aquatic species. We met with a localist who is concerned about the quality of the water in the reservoir since the implementation of the dam. Alex, tell us about how the dam has impacted your life.
Well, I grew up not far from the reservoir where I would swim and go fishing all the time. Since the dam was put in, water flow through the reservoir decreased, causing the water to become stagnant and polluted. Now that the water quality has plummeted, making it unhealthy for swimming and many fish species to survive in. Additionally, many of my friends and family members were displaced due to the flooding of their homes.
Alex is not the only one worried about the water quality in the dam's reservoir. The plan is to divert the water to the other cities to use for water, but even some of the receiving cities are rejecting this plan. Unfortunately, it turns out that billions of tons of wastewater are dumped into the river, and the dam's reservoir has prohibited that issue from resolving itself naturally with the flow of water due to the now stagnant and polluted water. It is no wonder localists feel threatened by the dam, seeing how clean water in their backyard turned to murky, polluted water that they wouldn't dare step foot in anymore. We also spoke with a local hydrologist that informed us more about some of the issues with the water due to the building of the dam. Dr. Kevin Svatana, what's so bad about the construction of this dam in terms of water flow?
Well, anything that impedes the flow of water is naturally going to cause some effects to the norms of the river. In this case, it slows the flow above the dam, causing sediments to settle higher up in the stream rather than traveling down the river before settling out. This lack of silt seems like a minor detail, but when the city of Shanghai downstream relies on this silt to reinforce their land, it becomes a huge issue to the people living there. This is just one of the problems that lack of flow has caused. This also leads to the fear of riverbanks downstream becoming more susceptible to flooding. The lack of flow also affects the ecological regions in the river, specifically the benthos region. A buildup of benthic sediment caused a decrease in biodiversity and aquatic biological damage.
Thank you.
Not only has the dam affected the physical makeup and habitat of the river, but it has also affected the species inside the Yangtze River.
The baiji was one of the world's few true river dolphin species. It had very highly developed sonar and very reduced vision because the Yangtze is very murky and full of sediments. The word baiji means white dolphin in Chinese, so it's very pale in colour. In my opinion, it was the most beautiful of the different river dolphin species.
The increase in floods also caused damage to agricultural growth, which accounts for 10% of China's grain supply.
We spoke with the writer Di Qing, a vocal critic of the Three Gorges project, to see what she had to say about the issue.
三峡工程可能会毁掉长江，我要把造起了堤坝，所以呢是人类的活动，把一条上苍最好的礼物、最聪明的安排，变成了一条有灾害的江，所以呢，更况且这个整个流速慢了，冲不下去了啊，水质我认为是降低了，最大的损害就是将来三峡工程可能会出现，比如说可能会出现最严重的问题，就是地质灾害。那么经过这个水从135米升到156米，再升到175米，这个水来浸泡这个两岸的时候，那么这个灾害就更严重了，就是发生的就更频繁。
Not only has the dam caused water quality and other environmental issues, but it has also had detrimental effects on the residents. We have been on the scene with more angry protesters that are upset about being uprooted from their homes due to the construction of the dam. Ben?
I'm here at Three Gorges Dam, which has faced severe criticisms due to the destruction and flooding of the surrounding areas in recent years. Floods have wreaked havoc in the area along the Yangtze River for decades, and one of the dam's most significant purposes is to help prevent these problems. It's designed to withstand a 1 in 1,000-year flood, according to the creators. While this area is prone to heavy rainfall and flooding, the dam has helped relocate and reduce much of the flow rate and water levels in the river following heavy rainfalls. It's designed with over 22 billion cubic meters of flood control storage space, which can reduce the river's peak flow by roughly 30,000 cubic meters per second. This is an extremely large amount of water, which leads to the problem of how to dispose of it without destroying the surrounding areas. By damming the river, water levels sit at roughly 575 feet at certain points. With a level this high, flooding of thousands of villages and towns, countless acres of farmland, and relocation of over 1.3 million people have occurred. These increased water levels have also weakened the surrounding land along the slopes of the bordering mountains and valleys, greatly increasing the risks of dangerous landslides and vulnerability to earthquakes. Millions of citizens live along the Yangtze River and use it as a crucial part of their everyday lives.
When the dam was being built, it displaced 1.3 million people. To put that into perspective, that's more than the entire population of 78 countries.
Unfortunately, many people lost their homes without appropriate monetary funding for relocation. The floods also buried many ancient Chinese artifacts and natural art and other precious Chinese touring sites. Other artifacts, just like this one, were submerged underwater. Here are some images of just a few of them.
A localist who lives on the slopes bordering the river explains to us how rising water has caused the ground to shift and make cracks in the structure of their home. Now they worry if their house will crumble in on them one night. A truly horrific thought.
从这个水蓄水以后，我们这些都影响这些满大的房屋啊，都有那里的色红。从有时候它就是那个地壳啊，就是或者听到那个晃炮的声音啊，就叮咚的一下。
害怕就是怕那个屋塌下来的，
有多害怕？
也蛮害怕，啊。
那都是睡的，那都是那个噻。如果它要塌下来了，那都是晚上睡了要塌下来了都没办法，那都是顶到塌呀，这是不是？
Yes, it's incredibly sad to see how detrimental the construction of this dam has been to the lives of so many. Ben also was able to speak with one of the protesters about why they were protesting against the dam. Unfortunately, many people lost everything they knew, including jobs, farms, and other necessary businesses that just cannot be replaced quick enough and have affected many.
Hey guys, I'm here in this residential area along the Yangtze River. We have an angry mob that's formed about the building of the Three Gorges Dam, so let's see what they had to say, get some insight.
We are furious about this dam being built. It's ruined my farmland. Look where I'm living in. Everything's flooded. I can't plant any crops. No one can. There's millions of people out here that farm this land, and they can't do it anymore. The water quality is just terrible. It's blasphemous.
So how would you say that the building of the dam has affected the local economy?
It's hurt the local economy tremendously. We all make our money from farming, and we can't do that if our land is flooded. You can't plant anything in flooded land.
Have you noticed any positives to the building of the dam?
I suppose one positive is electricity is more readily available, and I guess there's less flooding down the river, but with all the flooding up here, it's hard to really tell if it's a positive or not.
As you can see, there's some controversy here with the dam and its protesters, so we'll go back to the studio. Thank you. Although the dam has caused many issues for residents near the Yangtze River, it's become a very beneficial source of energy for the country of China. The Three Gorges Dam is the largest producer of renewable energy worldwide, generating 18,200 megawatts per hour. That huge amount of energy is the same amount as 18 nuclear power plants. This has saved over 100 million tons of greenhouse gases from being released by burning coal instead.
We had the opportunity to interview with the spokesperson of the dam.
From aerial photographs of the region in the 1990s, prior to the construction of this dam and much of the modern civilization that came around it, there was once what appeared to be lush landscape. Can you explain why China decided to build the dam despite facing such controversy from the locals?
That is simple. China as a nation is determined to continue growing, thus providing its citizens with a higher standard of living, which the dam is doing a wonderful job of providing.
Can you elaborate on some of the benefits this modern wonder seems to provide?
Of course. First off, Three Gorges Dam offers flood protection to those who inhabit the lands living downstream. Before the dam was constructed, flooding was a major issue for the cities downstream, such as Shanghai and Beijing. After completion, we limit the flooding incidents that these people face, changing the flood patterns from 1 in every 10 years to 1 in every 100. By restricting the flow of water downstream, that water has to go somewhere, does it not?
Oh.
Being 181 meters tall, that dam holds back a reservoir that is at full capacity, retains 39.3 kilometers cubed of water, or equivalent to 31.9 million acre-feet of water. Not only are we protecting the people living downstream, we are also providing them with hydroelectric power from this dam. The whole country receives power from the 32 electric turbines stored within the dam, creating 22,500 megawatts of power. In 2013, we produced 83.7 terawatt hours, and that number has increased to 98.8 terawatt hours in 2014.
Oh.
Through building the dam, we created a boost in the economy for our country. In addition to the 5,000 people working here on site at the dam throughout the phases of construction, we employed laborers, contractors, engineers, you name it. Then on top of that, the surrounding area benefited because workers had to eat. Therefore, food had to be prepared, paying the cooks and farmers where their crops were grown. The benefits of the construction of this dam reached far more than the people physically building it. The dam is a proud symbol of our country, showing we are taking steps to help our country dive into the modern era by encouraging clean and sustainable energy, while also helping our citizens find a higher standard of living.
Wow, and here I thought a dam was just meant to stop water.
No, my friend, dams are so much more.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
In conclusion, after reporting all of our stories, we see many pros and cons for the Three Gorges Dam. Some of these pros include energy production, ship navigation, and flood control. In conclusion, after reporting all of our stories, we see many pros and cons for the Three Gorges Dam. Some of these pros include energy production, ship navigation, and flood control.
However, on the negative side, there was lots of losses of homes. So many people were displaced, 1.3 million. Loss of usable land for agriculture and farming, and then also loss of recreation, just using the reservoir for swimming and fishing, and additionally, dying species. There was an example earlier on in this video about the Baji dolphins, where they're completely extinct now, due partly because of the dam.
Overall, our opinion of this dam is generally negative. It is not living up to the standards that China has hoped that it would be. Instead of producing 8% of the country's power, it is only producing 1.2%. And along with all of the negative environmental impacts, it is clear that this dam is negative. Go.
Not only this, but the Three Gorges Dam has 32 turbines. Jesus.
Not only has okay. So in conclusion, after reporting all of our stories, we see many disadvantages and many disadvantages to the good. Okay. In conclusion, after reporting on all of our stories, we've seen many pros and cons for the Three Gorges Dam. These include ship navigation up and down the river for cruise ships, energy production with the